Yo, let me see. Yo, let me move down. I'm sorry. I'm still laughing over. God, was it fraud Cavs fans? Yo, yo, they're so mad right now. You burn apparel. You get stop. And you know what the funny part is? Last night, all right, fans had said that gamers are worse at complaining than sports fans. Nah, not after what I've seen throughout this entire finals. I don't want to hear it. Y'all are officially, these fraud Cavs fans, you are officially the worst crybabies, the biggest bitches on Twitter. You are. I don't want to hear it. And you always sit and talk about gamers? Nah, man. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I know I'll leave sports for when the sports video come up next week. I'm sorry. But look, alright, look. We're going to start off another gaming video. We're going to start off with EA and they bullshit. But before I start with EA, alright, I want to say this now. Alright? I didn't get a chance to see much of E3, right? And because I was playing basketball, I had boxing, I had gym, I had a lot of real life stuff, you know. So the times that were set up for E3, you know, and work as well, I didn't really have much time to catch stuff, you know what I mean? And when I got back, I asked you guys and girls, you know, what did I miss? And, you know, you guys and girls would say, well, you missed this was released, this was announced. And other than that, you didn't miss anything. So, alright, I didn't miss much apparently. But we will talk about some of the releases today, alright? I want to start off with EA. And I want to talk about Mirror's Edge. Because remember last week, Mirror's Edge, they said, it's not really Mirror's Edge, it's called Catalyst. Here it is, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, alright, is going to be a prequel. That's what it's going to be. And the funny part is, if you didn't realize, the bad guy of Mirror's Edge Catalyst is the damn CEO! I swear, the unoriginality that's going on right now, and this is supposed to be next gen. I'm sorry, we're current gen now, right? That's what it would be called, current gen. However, I want to say this, alright? A lot of people I saw on Twitter were, some were upset, some were just making fun of it. Not everyone was upset, but you couldn't help but notice, alright, throughout this entire E3, the rampant production, and in severe numbers, of female protagonists that came out of nowhere, right? Now, a lot of people felt as though it was, that was their way of trying to shut up the SJWs. And as you know, as a gamer, you should know that it doesn't matter who you play as. It doesn't matter, alright? It just doesn't. However, Mirror's Edge didn't look that great. I will say that Lara Croft, there was a Rise of Tomb Raider, that looked great, even though it reminded me a lot of Uncharted. I know we always hear comparisons of Uncharted and Tomb Raider. I'm talking about the pacing of things when they happen, okay? So, like I said on Twitter, just get Nate Drake and get Lara Croft together and let them have a crossover game and let's call it a day. Let's just do that already, alright? However, if you haven't played the first Tomb Raider, I would say please play the first Tomb Raider, okay? However, I do want to talk about Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. And their sheepish fans. And I want to talk about this due to the fact that what Microsoft decided that they were going to announce, alright? Backwards compatibility! Oh my God! I'm thinking to myself, these seals that are just clapping, I'm just thinking to myself, you do realize that that's something that should have been standard from the beginning, right? And yet, this is how the crowd reacted.
Xbox One, we've listened to you, the community of Xbox gamers, and we're grateful for your continued feedback. We continue to deliver monthly platform feature updates that enhance your gaming experience, and your response to the updates continues to motivate us. Last year, the team decided to tackle a feature that has been consistently at the top of your request list. And while we weren't sure it was possible, today, I'm pleased to announce Xbox One backward compatibility.
Well, I guess we can say at least Microsoft is trying. However, we found out the list of the games that will be backwards compatibility. You know what I mean? So far that we've seen. And it's only like 10 games. How you come out and announce backwards compatibility at E3 and only have 10 games backwards compatible to show for it? Come on, look, I'm sure they will add to that, but you can't do something like... keep failing, Microsoft, keep failing. However, I want to say this, alright? Speaking of journalism, I want to talk about this for a minute, because once Microsoft's convention, or should I say their presentation, was over, as we know, we didn't see the other presentations yet, because you're still waiting, because they go on at specific times, alright? Then you had yellow journalism step in. And this is a problem that, once again, we're seeing, where the journalists are just going to plug everything to the moon. We all know E3 is one big advertisement. It is. It's trying to get you to buy games, and the media is not going to slow down with that. Check out what was said by this media outlet about Microsoft winning E3 before anyone else went on stage. So now I have to ask, how can Microsoft stomp all over Sony if Sony didn't even go on yet? I'm just saying, it goes to show you the bias when it comes to the media. Not to mention, if you have to sit here and mention, oh, he's stomping all, Microsoft stomping all over Sony, we're back to the fanboy wars again. Or at least that's what they're still trying to put, the console wars. They're trying to keep that drama going so that they think, because you, the consumer, are still on this. Alright? We already know it was stupid to begin with. But yet, they want to keep this going. X amount of years later, they still think that this is a weapon that they can use to keep you tuned in, to keep you fighting, to keep you buying consoles, to show your loyalty. You've got to be kidding me. Speaking of loyalty though, alright? I want to talk about someone who is loyalty to stupidity, common sense, and just absolutely ignorant. And I want to talk about Anita Sarkeesian. Because as you know, every year that E3 comes around, here she comes with her bullshit. And that's what she does best, with her bullshit. So, let's get started. I want to know, Anita, because for those who don't understand what's going on, Anita Sarkeesian now has come out and said that people in high heels, because apparently women in high heels, when they're fighting, when they're running in games and doing flips in that nature, it's all part of the male fantasy. So it's a male fantasy. You really want to go with that? You really want to try and turn this into a sexist angle, the male fantasy? Because if so, it would make you look like a dumbass. Once again, dumbass. And I advise you go play as the Ripper. But that's not all. No. Then we have to hear Anita complain about Fallout 4 at E3. This is what she said. Now I have to question her followers on this. And I have to ask you, before I show you the rest of this, okay? I have to ask you, how gullible are you to believe her? How stupid, that's right, can you be to keep following her when she says hypocritical bullshit? Because, for those who don't know, remember that picture that Anita took when she had those all stacks of video games to make it look like that she was a gamer? Alright? She's going to bag on Fallout 4. Why is it in that collection she's got Fallout 3 in it then? Now that you've seen it now, Anita fans and followers, okay? I just need to know, which one is it? Is she a hypocrite? Or did she not play these games at all and it was just a photo op? As far as I'm concerned, she's a fucking liar and only tells you bits and pieces to keep you on her side. Because if you don't remember last year at E3, when she tried and bag on Rainbow Six, and you saw the video I did on that, proving her wrong, Anita, do yourself a favor and shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. It'd be one thing if you knew what you were talking about or be somewhat right, but obviously, you're just throwing shit against the wall and hoping that something sticks. That's all it is. You're pathetic. And you're trying to fit in. Praise you, though. Get the fuck out of here, man. Let's move on, man. Let's talk about games, okay? Let's talk about Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter 5, I know. Birdie and Cammy have been revealed for Street Fighter 5, and the beta, for those who are interested, is slated for July 23rd for the PS4. Okay? Just to let you know. Also, as you know with Smash, I'm sure you already know the news, but Ryu and Roy are confirmed for Smash. As we knew, people, when it was announced and they were released, people were running over to, their eShop, Nintendo's eShop, trying to get these characters, or just trying to get the bundle in general, and the eShop crashed. So, they didn't know what they were doing. Also, Blazblue fans, gotta talk to you about, for a minute. Chrono Phantasma Extend releases on June 30th. So if you were interested in it, you should know when it's coming. Also, I want to say something about last week, okay? I don't want to say I jumped all over the fighting game community because I told you how it was. All right? Like I said, the people there that were at those fighting game, at the fighting game community, at those tournaments, were great people. They were fun. But of course, after the video came up, a bunch of fanboys decided they got so mad at what I was saying. Don't you talk about Jay Wong? He's my hero. He's a god. Stop. Stop. All right? And it's funny because everything I said, I had a lot of people who jumped all over me for it. However, if Alex says the same exact thing that I said, no flack. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out what he said on Twitter. And when Alex said that, he was praised. It was, that's a great thing for you to say. I said, it's a completely different problem. You should be ashamed of yourself for saying that you suck, blah, blah. Yeah, that's what I get, right? It goes to show you that all you did was prove me right. So all your comments from last week sounded a lot like Saul. You know what? Maybe you should join the Cavs fan base. You would fit right in. You know what? Let's move on. All right. Platinum Games are developing a Transformers Brawler. You know what we've seen from this? This is old school Transformers, cel-shaded old school Transformers. Looks great. And the way they're making it seem when they're saying it's a brawler, it's more designed like Anarchy Reigns. And if that's true, I'm on board. Also, Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness has been announced for Square. I'll put it like this. I think Square had a lot of good announcements. However, you should know when they're dropping bombs, you should just wait and see if it's really going to happen. We will talk about that in a minute, okay? Now, as you know, Kingdom Hearts 3 has been announced. Anyone who saw the trailer for that was a great trailer as far as I'm concerned, and Kingdom Hearts 3 looks like it's going to be really good. Of course, it's only for it's going to be for the next generation system. I'm sorry, current generation systems, but it does look good, all right? So, Kingdom Hearts fans, you're finally getting what you want, okay? Also, Final Fantasy VII Remake has been announced. Now, I will put it like this. We saw before the tech demo. We saw, we said everyone got hyped. Now we're seeing this. Okay. I will put it like this. Wait. Just wait. All right? Just wait and see if this is really going to happen. And people are already like, oh no, I'm buying a PS4 right now. Blah, 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 blah. Just stop. Stop. Okay? Wait to see if Square will make do. Wait to see if there's any progress on this. It's an announcement. Don't get so hyped, please. That's the problem with announcements. You always see these announcements, and for years, shut up and take my money. And we see it all the time. Relax. Okay? Relax. Just chill. Now, I do want to move on to more Square news. Nier is getting a sequel. Now, for those who didn't play the original Nier, I would say play the original Nier. But if you're going to play the original Nier, play the Japanese version. Okay? Because for those who do not remember Nier, okay, they had two different versions. They had one version for Japan, which the protagonist was kind of feminine looking, because that's what they said. That's what Square said. It was kind of feminine looking. What they did was when they brought it over to the U.S., they said, oh, we got to make this older guy, and he's got to have all these bulging muscles and everything because he looks more manly. And because he would look more manly, people at the time that were buying like Gears of War and things of that nature would flop to Nier. I will put it like this. Just wait and see what they're going to do. The fact that they did this is ridiculous, all right? And I'm not saying the sequel, but the moves that they made to get it to sell over in the West. Now, like I said, if you're going to play the original, please play the original, not the Western version that they decided to change the character model and all that. No, play the original. It's worth it, okay? Now, I want to move on. I want to talk about Nintendo, and I want to talk about them co-developing Star Fox Zero with Platinum Games. Platinum Games is on fire right now. They're on fire, all right? Look good, as far as I'm concerned. When it came to Star Fox, they showed a couple different elements that we're not used to, or should I say that we didn't expect them to put into this one. This Star Fox does look good. It's been a long time since we had a Star Fox game. Please go support it, all right? That's all I'm going to say on that one. Also, Metroid Prime Federation Force announced. No. No. Anyone who's seen it, no. No. Just what? It's some stupid spin-off with these. No, just stop. That's not what people want. Just give them Metro. Why can't you give them Samus? Oh, I forgot. If we get so mad, you know what I mean? You know, the women are in. There's too many women in gaming, and then we're asking for Samus. But misogyny, sexism. But we're asking for Samus. Okay. All right. You know what? Let's move on. And I want to talk about Shenmue 3 because we know that Shenmue 3 is now coming. We saw that the Kickstarter was going on. All right. And we saw, because we've been saying for a while, we've been talking about this for a couple months, have we not, here? And talked about Shenmue 3, it needs to happen, what is going on, somebody let us know what's up. Shenmue 3 Kickstarter happened, and as soon as the Kickstarter was announced, it did not take long to get over $2 million for Shenmue 3. Now, while that all seems great and we're all going to get a Shenmue 3, there's a number of things I need to ask. First off, where's Shenmue 1 and 2 for a collection? Are you going to add Shenmue 1 and 2 into 3 and make it one big bundle? I would like to know these things. However, it has been brought to my attention that this studio is partnered with Sony. That's right, they're partnered with Sony. So, the money that you fans gave, alright, the $2 million, yeah, it's like almost giving Sony $2 million. Sony could have did this themselves, and yet, they leaned on the fans to do it, to see if it was going to sell. They didn't want to take a hit. What does this tell you? Sony, if they're partnered, because this is what we're hearing, all right, they didn't want to take a risk. So they left it up to you gamers. Yeah, you throw out the money, and then we'll make it. Not the fact that we believe this product will sell, like most companies do. This product will sell if we, promote it, if we give it the money it needs, and then gamers will buy it. Nope. Nope. This Kickstarter thing has just gotten out of hand. You cannot have big-time companies asking for money. I understand certain developers are not big, you know what I mean? There's some small development teams out there, all right? But when you're partnered with Sony, a giant, you do not need to ask for money. That is, you really have to ask Sony a lot of questions on that one, if this is true, you know what I mean, from what we're hearing. Also, in more news, Devil May Cry, let's talk about this. Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. Now, for those who don't know, it's already been talked about. If Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition does not sell well, there may not be any more Devil May Cry. They will kill the franchise. Capcom will decide to stop the franchise. Now, with that being said, do you know what this means? It means we've been right all along. It means that they're going to tell the fans, well, you didn't buy it, so that's it. How about this, Capcom? How about you put it on physical disc instead of being half-assed and deciding we're going to make it a digital copy, and then you're going to bring it out right next to Batman Arkham Knight. You set this up to fail, and now you're making it seem like, well, if the fans don't buy it, you're not going to get another Devil May Cry. Yet that other trash that you put out, that definitive edition for Devil May Cry, you tried to push it. You gave that 2 different physical release copies, and it still didn't sell. Pathetic. I guess if you add up the numbers from the original and then the definitive, I guess you got some more money out of it. But that's what you had to do. You had to keep milking it. That's sad. So for original Devil May Cry fans, pretty much they're telling you, you don't buy this, it's on you. That's peer pressure they're putting on you. As far as I'm concerned, I would say when they do something like that, a tactic like that, don't buy it. I know you love Devil May Cry, but look at what the company just did to you. Fuck them, as far as I'm concerned. Once again, speaking of more news, when it comes, let's get into some good news, okay? Bloodstained. As we know, Bloodstained has hit its goal for Kickstarter. Looks great, everyone's success. Everyone's happy. But because it's doing so well, now it's going to get Shovel Knight as a crossover. That's right. So the character Shovel Knight will be in the game. So, here we go again. It's going to, like I said, this is good news. You know what I mean? Also, let's move on to Arc System Works. Arc System Works, for those who don't know, has acquired River City Ransom, Double Dragon, Kunio-Kun, and Super Dodgeball. That's right. So, I think this is going to be a good thing. Apparently, when this first happened, a lot of people were afraid that these games would fall by the wayside because Arc System Works would just buy the IPs up and then decide we're just going to, bury them. But that doesn't seem to be the case right now. So, fans of these games, if you really want more of these games, by all means, you got to let your voices be known. Because, as you know, these companies are out of touch. And this is Arc System Works we're talking about. We're talking about the same Arc System Works that are under fire for a lot of things when it comes to fighting games. So, I'm just saying, you gotta let your voices be heard, okay? Also, what is it? Here's a report. It's a study, which is, if you ask me, is complete bullshit, okay? It's very dishonest. Active video game can be better than playing outside. No, it can't. Bottom line, you cannot beat playing outside. That's it. Done. Over. I don't want to hear about your study anymore. But I'll put the link in the info bar if you really want to read it. There is no way in hell you can tell me kids going out and playing outside, can be worse for their health as opposed to this game. Get the fuck out of here. This game is not going to, exceed someone going out and playing outside or playing Little League or playing football, playing basketball, whatever. I'm not trying to hear that shit. Okay? Fuck your study. Anyways, I also want to move on. More news. Razer. Razer has bought the Ouya. That's right. They have bought the console, and we will see what they're going to do with it. I guess we'll see in the future what's going to happen. But they have been bought out. Now, also, The Last Guardian. I want to talk about this. The Last Guardian will be coming to the PS4 in 2016. Quite disappointing. And I say this because Last Guardian fans, we've been talking about this for a long time. We've been talking about this since the PS3, years into the PS3 era. So Sony, you're just going to piss all over PS3 users, huh? I understand that, this is one of those things where, it's a big-time title. You want to make sure it's for the PS4 because you want people to buy the PS4. But these people have been waiting since the PS3 era. There's a number of games that are coming out for the PS4 and also for the PS3. It is a damn shame that you decided to alienate. You just pulled a Ubisoft. That's what you did with Rainbow Six. Because remember, Rainbow Six Patriots was supposed to come out for the PS3, and they took that away and gave it to the PS4 and said, we're going to call it Rainbow Six Siege. Remember that? Yeah. Which looks horrible right now. And apparently, they're going to give you Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 with Siege. And like I said on Twitter, I will put down any amount of money that Rainbow Six 1 and 2 will still be better than Rainbow Six Siege. Anyways, same thing with The Last Guardian. You cannot sit here and tell me that you're going to sit here and pull this. That you just pissed all over your fans, Sony. You did. Microsoft, even though they have a small number of games that have backwards compatibility, there's nothing you can do about that, is it? You haven't put out backwards compatibility, not to mention, Sony, that you can't even keep your server secure. Your online secure. And yet you want people to still pay for this stuff, and you're still giving them less than what, right now, Microsoft is getting ready to implement. That's a problem. I would say, if I put it like this, you better follow Microsoft's steps and decide, hey, look, we got to put in backwards compatibility to keep up, because if not, that's it. That's it. People are going to flock to the Xbox One. At this point, you should know gamers have very short-term memories, which means that all that stuff that was said for those first 2 years of the Xbox One's launch or announcement, people forgot about that already. They forgot. They forgot all, well, if you want to play old games, you should keep your 360. People forgot about that. We're going to have always online. People forgot about that. It goes to show you that it doesn't take long for people to forget things. And that when you come out with something new, something shiny, or you have something that, like I said, Microsoft, once they, like I said, even though it was a blunder when they announced it, okay, given the list, they can always work on it. And they can always make it bigger. But you have to understand, Sony, you didn't even do anything. You were just like, all right, we're going to show you these games, and that's it. That's pretty much what you did. I do want to say that I did like the VR headsets that, both companies were showing. However, I've been talking about the HoloLens for quite a bit, and what Microsoft showed with the HoloLens, I have to say this now, they did a disservice to the HoloLens. Because look, it's Minecraft. Anybody who's been following the HoloLens know that we've already seen Minecraft months ago. It's nothing new. And this thing does more than just video games. It does a lot more. But yet, they didn't even go into that. And granted, they probably had some time constraints. And they also are trying to target the gaming demographic. So that's what they're trying to sell you on. But the HoloLens does a lot more than just, hey, we can play Minecraft on it, or we can play games. Like I said, look into what the HoloLens can really do. It is amazing for what I've seen. Like I said, I need to see more on it to see exactly, in detail what they can do. But the demonstrations that they've shown via YouTube and those videos before E3, yeah, definitely needs more. It needs more credibility. it means more credit in general, and I think that they didn't give it enough respect it deserved at E3. Like I said, I want to talk more about The Last Guardian due to the fact that Sony, you should know better. And like I said, you just pissed off a lot of fans. I'm sure a lot of people are happy to see The Last Guardian's coming, but you just shafted PS3 owners like it was nothing to it, and you didn't even give a shit when you did it. You should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. It's fucking pathetic. Anyway, I want to talk more about the PS4, and I want to talk about Dreams. Because Media Molecule is bringing out Dreams, which actually is an interesting take on things, for what I've seen. Was it Dreams? Same people made Little Big Planet. We'll be doing this type of stuff. I would say look out for it. Because, as we saw when Little Big Planet came on the scene, it exploded. And Nintendo was like, oh, what the hell? What are we going to do by this? Oh, we need Yoshi, and Yarn. And then we saw other games like, was it Untangled or something like that? Untanged? I forgot. Tangled, that's what it was called. More Yarn stuff. But it actually looked pretty good. The physics looked really nice on it. Also, I want to say this right now. I think that the biggest underdog game that we saw at E3 that I seen, I believe it was Cuphead. Very throwback to animation for animation fans. It's just one of those things where it's just you can tell it takes so much heart and so much research into doing these type of games, and they're not getting the credit they deserve. They're not. And what made me mad about Microsoft is that at one point they're showing all these games like Gears of War, and you couldn't see shit during Gears of War. You're like, what the hell's going on? And you're fighting tornadoes with chainsaws, and it's manly. And I'm like, really? Is this? And the girl that you're with looks like a Starbucks barista with a gun. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? You're kidding me, right? Is this really how it's going to go? And what was sad about seeing all the big time titles that they kept highlighting, all the indie games that looked really good and really unique, they rammed up into this like type of montage. And I'm like, really? Is this really how you're going to justify things? Because the indie games that came out and they gave your system variety is that you gave like a small spot to. And the thing is, afterwards they touched on a couple of them, but not all of them. And that was sad to see. Because that's supposed to give Xbox the variety. Remember, it's always been Xbox is for Call of Duty, guys, and they don't really have any games. Sony, they do RPGs, they do this, they do this, they do this, and that's why people flock. Remember, they made it seem like the Xbox was a one-trick pony. Now that you have the chance to show that you have variety, you just montage it through. You fucked yourself. You really did on that. That's kind of sad because when you have a small montage, if gamers are not going to look into said game that interests them and find stuff on YouTube, you know what's going to happen? People are going to forget about those games quick. And those developers that put in all that hard work to make games unique, that's supposed to spread games, they're going to be shafted. That's what happens. Microsoft did not do themselves a favor by doing that at E3. I'm just saying they didn't. It's kind of sad to see what E3 is. As you know, every time I watch somewhat E3, I didn't see it all, but somewhat of E3, I sit to watch, to laugh, because it's always a fucking joke. And it was a fucking joke. It was. Ubisoft, once again, showed nothing to bring to the table. Oh, look, Assassin's Creed. Stop. Oh, the Division. We've seen the Division before. It's been done in other games. You know what I mean? It's nothing new. And it seems like Ubisoft has not learned their lesson. I think out of all this, Squaresoft, they brought the guns with them. They did. You know, after bagging them, Squaresoft and Platinum Games made out this year. They did. They got a number of good. It doesn't matter the number of, you don't need a large number of games to have quality. And Platinum looked like they're going to bring some quality to the table. Square looks like after the things we've seen, they're going to bring some quality to the table. Tomb Raider looks like it's going to be quality. There's a number of games that look like, hey, this is worth getting. You know what I mean? If you already own those systems. However, for me still, as a system, not buying a PS4, because so many people keep saying, buy a PS4, buy a PS4. Like I said, no backwards compatibility. You can't keep your network on because someone's always hacking it. You're always in trouble. I'm not sold yet. I'm still not sold. I'm not. Sony got to do something better than this. And Microsoft, like I said, the backwards compatibility, you had EA come out there, and they thought that they were doing EA, they made themselves look so bad because they like this. The early access, they're like, oh yeah, you can play these games now. And while we're at it, we'll drop a Titan on it. And then the Titanfall thing, because I'm like, well, Titanfall has been out for over a year. That's not new if you want to talk about playing games now. And then they bring Pele out, and gamers are like, and he's sharing his story about, about football and the beautiful sport. And I'm sitting there like, holy shit, it's Pele. And I'm listening to it, and, as a person of interest, I'm listening. And gamers, and they show, like, they pan the gamers outside on the tables, and they're on their cell phones, like, I don't give a fuck what Pele's saying. But as soon as they sold Star Wars Battlefront, oh my god, it's going crazy. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Star Wars Battlefront did look somewhat good because it reminded me of the old Battlefront, but there's no space battles, there's no all this. Really? Really? They got a lot of work to do on Star Wars Battlefront as far as I'm concerned. They do. EA, you tried to push sports again. NBA Live, stop. Stop. Alright? It's bad enough that 2K fucks up all the time. Take your ass outside and play some basketball. Please take your ass outside. You don't need NBA Live. Instead of listening to your fan base who didn't want NBA Live, they wanted more stuff like NBA Street, NBA Jam. You didn't give that to them though. Alright. Yeah, you're done. We're going to have more FIFA. You're done. You're done. Sports. Whatever. Look at the stuff we got new for Madden. No one cares. Nobody cares. Oh, we're going to add fantasy football elements now. Then you bring the guy on, who's a Robert Flores, you bring him on from ESPN. Well, since you're a fantasy football expert, there's no such thing as a fantasy football expert, people. Stop. I'm done. I'm done. Anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm done. I'm done, man. Cavs fans, I'm out, y'all. I'm out.